Some of these 5 habits might offend you or trigger you, but the one thing that is certain is I took them and made my first $1 million after taxes by the age of 22, and over the next few years turned that into over $14 million in sales by the age of 24. And over the last few years, I've done everything that every single 20-year-old wants. Like, I bought the Lambo, I have the $20,000 watch, I've given over 6 figures to charities. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not saying if you implement these 5 habits, you're gonna make $1 million next month. But if you do these, they're gonna form the habits that I've seen all successful people have, that I've had the privilege of experiencing for myself as well. And the first habit, it might be super unconventional, but it's actually putting your phone in the other room. Now, why exactly do I say this? Look, contrary to popular opinion, your phone is the most dangerous addiction inside of your house. A lot of people think it's drugs, alcohol, it's pornography, and yes, those are all terrible things, but the harmless device that all the social media companies want you to think, nah, it's just entertainment, is a thing that's actually sucking away your life and soul as we speak right now. Because did you know that the average American spends 2 hours and 19 minutes every single day on social media? That's 14 hours a week. That's over 50 hours a month that you're literally stuck on a screen scrolling on social media mindlessly, that is taking you away from building the dream business, achieving your dream body, hitting the gym, improving your grades if you're in school. Any possible goal you have, 50 hours a month down the drain. That's 600 hours a year just to paint that home. And so 2 common things I commonly do myself is, number 1, I put my phone on airplane mode so that nothing actually comes on it. Or secondly, I actually just literally put it in another room. Half the time, my friends are like, man, how come it's so hard to reach you? It's like, dude, I'm focusing on my business. I'm focusing on the mission that God has put me on. But Richard, what if someone in my family or my significant other needs me because they're just about to die because there's some crazy accident that happened I need to know? I want you to be honest with yourself. Has that actually happened in your life in the last 5 years? Because I'll tell you, having a wife, having a family, having multiple close friends that I deeply care about, I have never once in my life gotten a phone call that if I did not respond to that hour, someone was gonna die. And the one thing that is certain is when I put my phone aside, not only did my work productivity go up, I made more money because of it, but even if I remember back when I was a student at UCLA and I was studying really hard in school, the fact that I wasn't scrolling on social media is the one contributor that shot my grades up, because everything in terms of your focus becomes better. Now, the second habit that I want to talk about is choosing the right vehicle. You might know a quote by Warren Buffett that goes, it's not about how hard you row, it's about what boat you get in. And what Warren is saying is, when you work really, really hard, it's important, but if you're working in a business opportunity that is taking way too much time, that just isn't efficient, you already lost the battle before you even begun. Now, when I was 18 years old, I was a freshman at UCLA and I was trying to make it as an entrepreneur while being a student. I tried dropshipping, I built an ATM business, which got robbed. That's a story for another time. I tried an agency business, and I did all the things that probably the gurus that you follow on YouTube, on Instagram, that talk about these money-making opportunities, they're all talking about. But the problem that I saw was the complexity of them. Because if you see, starting a dropshipping company, for example, learning to run Facebook ads, learning how to build a website, learning how to find the right products, all these skills take time to master. And after 2 years of working hard at these and wasting a lot of money on Facebook ads, in fact, I went a 6-month period where I literally charged Lime scooters, where I would make about $20 to $30 a night, and I would spend that money on Facebook ads, and I got nothing to work. And that's where I realized, man, I feel like I'm working on a business that someone who's been in business for maybe 4 or 5 years should be able to do, but I'm just a complete noob. And it was when I stumbled across something called remote setting, which is where I only had to learn one skill, which is where I made my first $15,000 in the next 90 days of doing so. Now, I don't have enough time in this video to go over all the best business model opportunities. I did make one YouTube video where I do a codex analysis, a full breakdown of all the most popular ways that you can make money online right now in this year. If you want that video, it's just a free YouTube video. That is my gift to you. It's the first link in the description. Check that out after you finish this video. But the lesson I'm trying to get across is, whatever the opportunity is that you're working on, actually analyze and see, are there people hitting success in the first 30, 60, 90 days of doing so? Or am I already climbing a mountain that's impossible to climb for a beginner? Now, habit number 3 is a little controversial because it's what I call a high consumption to execution ratio. And if you're a little confused by that, let me explain. In fact, you know the line, the more you learn, the more you earn, right? But the problem with this statement is that, yes, it's fantastic that you're reading books. You're reading Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Rich Dad Poor Dad, incredible books that changed my life. But a thing that I personally saw when I was starting to read books and I got into self-development is reading books without taking action was the most dangerous addiction that I was feeding, because while you're reading this book, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm learning so much information. But the one thing that rings so true, write this down, is that information without implementation is absolutely meaningless. Look, it doesn't matter matter how many business books you read, how many self-development books you read, if you don't apply the things that you're learning, you're never going to be able to get the results that you get in life. It's like a doctor that goes through 4 years of medical school, finally passes all the exams, gets the medical degree, and then decides not to practice medicine. What's the point? I'll give you an example of back when I was in university. Even though I had no business back then, I knew, okay, whatever I learned, I have to implement. And I went through the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, and they said every single day, make an effort to meet someone new that you're unfamiliar with and give them compliments. So what did I do? With no business, I went to the university cafeteria, and every single day for 2 years, because I was so introverted and shy, I actually forced myself to sit down with someone eating alone, guy, girl, athlete, professor, it didn't matter who it was, to have a genuine conversation with that individual for 30 to 45 minutes and have a lunch. And I met over 500 people between my freshman and sophomore year, and I made so many friends, and I got so much better at my communication skills because I forced myself to do this. Now, if I read that book and did nothing, would I have changed my social skills? No. It was the actual act of reading a chapter and then applying it over 2 years that actually helped me improve in my skill set. Now, habit number 4 might offend you, but here's the thing. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. And it's that you need to stop watching porn. Pornography, or quitting pornography, is the habit that I have seen dramatically transform my life, and I'll give you 2 reasons. The first reason is a pure scientific biological principle. Now, I was studying biology at UCLA, and one of my favorite classes was actually on the neurochemical principles of what goes on in the brain when we watch pornography. If we go back thousands of years, survival of the fittest is defined by how many offspring that you can produce. In fact, in school, we learned that animals live for the sole purpose of reproduction and producing more of their offspring. And so we can understand that sex, or the releasing or orgasm, is actually what is the ultimate reward inside of our brains, because we need to release in order to reproduce, and reproducing is the most important thing. And so if you think about it, if you're looking at a computer screen, you got your pants pulled down, and you're whacking off every single day, you're literally getting the instant gratification of something that animals have to work for and work really, really hard for, but you're getting a quick, instant gratification. It's no different from you wanting to hit the gym, and right after you go to the gym, you just pig out and eat a whole bunch of junk food and pizza and chips and soda, and you ruin everything with instant gratification. And so what that means is when you release too many times, meaning once a day, multiple times a day, you are killing your motivation to actually want to work hard, which is why you're probably feeling really lazy and not wanting to work on that business, not wanting to go to the gym, not wanting to improve your grades. Well, it's because you're releasing way too much. Now, if that reason isn't enough for you, as a follower of Jesus myself, I understand that honoring God is the most important thing. And it says in the Bible, 1 Corinthians 6:18 says, flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside of the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. Every sin that you could possibly ever do, whether that's lying, that's stealing, that's cheating, yes, you're hurting other individuals, but do you understand the only person that you're actually hurting the most when you give into pornography, committing sexual immorality, is you're hurting yourself, man. You are sabotaging your motivation, you're sabotaging your relationship with God, you're preventing yourself from actually reaching new heights in your business or in your university or in your health. Dude, you're only hurting yourself. And if you need any help quitting pornography, I actually made a really popular video that's gotten hundreds of thousands of views. You can go and click on one of the corners of the screen here. I'll link you to the video where I actually go through a couple principles of how do you quit the bad cycle of watching porn. Habit number 5 is doing the boring things for a long time. You might know this as consistency, but let me tell you something. It's easy to wake up at 5 a.m. one day. It's easy to show up to the gym for 1 week. It's easy, relatively, to stay consistent for a month period. But tell me who is actually willing to wake up at 5 a.m. for the next year in order to work on their business? Who is willing to delay not drinking alcohol, going out to parties for the next year in order that they hit their first $10,000 month? Fun fact, when I was building my business, I was also working a job for one of my mentors who was living in Canada on the East Coast at the time. And because I was on the West Coast of the United States, there was a 3-hour difference. So I woke up at 3:35 a.m. in the morning because I was 6:35 for them in order that I could get a few hours of work done for that company, because I was learning the skill set of remote setting, which is how I made my first amount of money. And then I would still have time to go through and finish my UCLA homework and also work on my side hustles. The one thing that I'm super transparent about is if you scroll up in my YouTube videos and go back 2 years ago, you'll see every single one of those videos. In fact, I even have a video that's got over 2 million views called my 3:35 a.m. morning routine. And I say all this not to impress you, but to impress upon you the fact that I've been able to build a successful business, not because I'm particularly gifted or talented talented, or any particular thing that separates me from you. The only difference is that I chose to be consistent. I chose to put away pornography. I chose to not go to any parties. I didn't take any alcohol when I was in university. I did all of these things with the true sense of it's going to work out one day. And so for you, I really want you to look at yourself in the mirror. What is that goal for you? Is it making your first $5,000 a month online? Is it actually achieving your dream fitness levels or having a dream promotion at your career? Whatever that is, dig down deep and ask yourself, are you truly following the principle that how you do one thing is how you do everything, and you are implementing to the best of your abilities consistency? If you're not, make some tactical changes. Now, don't get overwhelming and say, all right, I'm gonna go to the gym 5 times a week. I'm gonna go ahead and wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. I'm gonna not eat junk food for the next year. No, that's overwhelming. Just pick one thing. Personally, for me, it was promising myself that I was going to wake up at the same time every single day and go to bed at the single time every single day. And if I did not do that one thing correctly that week and I missed a day, I would go ahead and Venmo or PayPal my accountability partner $100 as punishment so that I would actually hold myself accountable. Yeah, over the years, I've lost a couple $100, but more importantly than that, it forced me to actually be accountable. Look, I want to congratulate you because I know how badly you want to win. I know how badly you want to be able to provide for your family, raise your income, and take care of those in need. And so if you want to continue the conversation of learning what is the actual best way to make money this year, let me show you the skill set that changed my life forever and how I got started after I failed 4 different businesses over 3 years. I break down what the skill is. Click on that video right over here. They'll take you there. If you got value from this video, let me know in the comments down below what was the most useful habit out of these 5 that you're going to implement, and tell me which one that you're going to commit to for this next month. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos, because I'm going to be dropping videos just like this every single week moving forward. Remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. I'm rooting for you.